All right. Got some prepped up things from yesterday's concerning Alabama. I came across Shaking My Head Productions, which again, I think is artificial intelligence, even though they do have a front man on Facebook. If we go to them, seems like his name is Steve Smith or something. Shaking My Head Pro. There we go. Oh, phooey. Hang on a second. All right, they're called Shaking My Head on Facebook. Shaking My Head. Somebody replied, did he, or did they reply back? See, AI could run a Facebook site. AI could run anything in the computer. Anything you can do on a computer, AI can do it on a computer. So I just don't know what to tell you about Shaking My Head Productions, but you get a ton of information from them. So we're going to go over a video that they did. Some cool comments from Jamie yesterday concerning Alabama. We'll go to that video. I did save a lot of the comments so that we'll go through them. We all remember my Alabama. Yeah, whatever. Because Cheryl from Alabama had a lot of great information. A lot of it I went ahead and sent to my email. So let's just see what all I can do from my email first. So I want to make sure I get everything lined up. I'm only 12 minutes into this Shaking My Head production video. Not, you know, most of it's stuff you already know or I already know, but it's very well put together. And I feel like their Ghost in the Machine AI sites are going to be telling you more and more stuff. They're going to keep giving you clues. So we just have to kind of keep an eye on them. It began with something from the outer limits. Yeah, not, good grief, I'm having like brain fog. There was the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits. That's what they were. This was the Outer Limits.
It's simply an extension of flesh.
Last human being alive. And he was obsolete. And it was a Twilight Zone. No, an Outer Limits. Oh no, that was Twilight Zone when that guy was on.
And because he has a mind.
Commentary.
You've been under generation, 3G, the internet.
So they're talking about 3G, 4G. This was interesting what they said here.
In a limited way.
In today's technology.
4G completed that.
This was interesting. It's very interesting.
Digital migration. But if anyone tells you
that 5G, or they know what 5G, watch this.
That they know the details of what 5G is going to become.
Well, we know what it's going to become, but nobody's going to tell you the truth. It's going to be the mark of the beast. And right now they want to tie you to the technology through the vaccine. The vaccine is not the mark of the beast. If a sheep or lost sheep took the vaccine, it doesn't screw up might screw up your health, but it's not going to screw up your salvation. Jesus loses not one of his sheep. Plus the mark of the beast, as we know, if you're new to the channel, mark of the beast doesn't come until you worship the image of the beast, and the beast must return from the deadly wound, along with a false prophet singing his praises, and an image that speaks. And you must worship the image of the beast. And of course, everybody will, because God will send them a strong delusion. Well, none of that's happened yet. And it does say standing in the temple. I believe that's Matthew, Jesus speaking, Matthew 24:15. Stand in the holy place. And it's said again in 2 Thessalonians 2. So, and Trump's on the temple coin. So that's all coming. Hasn't come yet. So a vaccine, the mark of the beast can't come before the Antichrist coming in the temple, returning from the dead. Just doesn't work like that. Comes afterwards. Thank you. Hold your applause. Thank you.
Run the other way.
If anybody tells you the details, if anybody tells you of what 5G is to become, run the other way. And then he's talking about the liars. Driverless cars. Well, yeah, driverless cars. It was just like the Haunted Mansion at Disney. You're walking, you're looking at this. I mean, you're riding in this thing and you're looking in these mirrors, you and the person next to you in the two-man buggy seat, and it showed a ghost riding with you. Do you remember that? That's your driverless car. It's artificial intelligence, and they tell you it's artificial intelligence. And a matter of fact, remember the commercial I exposed where the lady goes, "That's a ghost car." It's because it is. That's what AI is. It is the ghost in the machine. If you had a driverless car with artificial intelligence, it would be a ghost car. It would be like riding in that Haunted Mansion car. And if y'all have never been to Disney World back in the Haunted Mansion days, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you do, then there you go. You're welcome. Hold the applause. I thought this was extremely telling. Ozzy Osbourne. Well, who did the song Iron Man? I am Iron Man. Why in the world would they choose Ozzy Osbourne, who did the song Iron Man, to promote?
Welcome to 4G.
Which is the prelude to 5G. Well, at least he's not promoting 5G, the guy that did Iron Man.
Don't touch my hair, man.
So, and then Bieber comes in and literally they go, he's a girl.
This is 5.
Oh, he is promoting 5G. My bad. Who else other than Iron Man to promote 5G? Ozzy Osbourne, who did what? The song Iron Man. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
G, I think.
It's 5G.
What you
All the world is stage, folks. Aren't they brilliant the way they put all of this together?
talking about?
Just a 5G. Just say
Okay.
a 5. Just say 5G.
All aboard, folks. You better believe all aboard. For God will send them all a strong delusion that they will believe a lie.
The 5G.
And I also came across really, really, really thinking Mini Fish was controlled opposition. I know some of y'all hate to hear that with his multi-billion thousand subscribers. He really drove home free will. And then he said something that I want to come back with y'all and watch again and make sure that he really said it.
Trade. How many bloody G's are there?
Okay. Is he a girl or a boy, this Bieber? That's a pretty small head. We know the male head is much bigger.
I'll take it from here.
What's a Bieber?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna lose
And he ends up being in the background.
Ozzy. Bring in the new one.
We're going to lose Ozzy and bring in the new one. Folks.
Ozzy's in the back.
Ozzy's in the background. Got it. Looks like a male jaw, or did they implant that? See, the head, you get 3 heads on a male shoulder. You get 2 heads on a female shoulder. Most of the time.
Background, guys.
As
He's in the
as a rule.
background.
It's the way out.
They say something about Bieber being a girl. Let's see.
The new buyback program. You buy it now, we buy it back
Got it. Got it. Best Buy.
when it's time to upgrade. Beaver, 6G feet.
Beaver 6G. Oh, it says Beaver, but I think he said Beaver. The thing didn't pick up on it. It's maybe he did say Beaver 6G fever, but I'm thinking he said Beaver 6G fever and it just didn't pick it up.
Beaver.
And he's doing the what? The robot, because when you go 6G, you have become the avatar. At 6G, they're inside you. 5G is the means to get them inside you. 6G, you are now doing the robot.
What's a 6G?
What is a 6G? That's when the ghost in the machine has entered into your body. You basically die because it will not cleave, and your body is now an avatar for the fallen ones.
What the f***'s a beaver?
What's a Biba? Commentary.
I don't know. Kind of looks like a girl.
Kind of looks like a girl. But he just kind of threw that in there, didn't they? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Might be just a cute little boy, but you just never know because it's Hollywood and it freaks me out. All right, let's move on.
Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga. Woo! Child Police. Turn the volume down a little bit. I got this thing like super jacked up as it is. Oh, because I was listening to some, I think it was a college football thing, quite frankly. Yeah, it was a Dan Mullen press conference, which all the world's a stage in that realm. I'm really following that and breaking it down like crazy with my friends.
Born This Way is the new single. Tell us about the album.
Born This Way. Woo! Man and machine, iron and clay is what they're throwing up there. Well, that's what we've always been saying. So, Shaking My Head Productions, which nobody ever speaks at Shaking My Head Productions videos as Shaking My Head Productions. They're telling you it's man and machine, it's iron and clay, all the way back from Daniel 2:43. So, ta-da!
Oh, I love the album so much,
Thank you, Holy Spirit. We say humbly.
and I hope all of the monsters do too.
The monsters. I think I can skip through. Oh, and then we get into Mini Fish here.
The performance we did last time.
Telling you, trying to create a race within a race with a black programmable matter that's attached to the DNA. Not really sure what that's about. I think that's just a bunch of hippie, small, freaky talk for your body's just going to be inhabited by demonic entities. And then Mini Fish comes on.
I want you to notice the color scheme. Notice how
And it was Mini Fish that showed me this commercial, which I ended up using.
everything is purple,
And Scarlet.
scarlet, right? Red and blue it is. And he tells them to CEO pops up.
Yeah, and that's Lucifer, because he's, I forget how he said it. I shouldn't have skipped around.
With the 5G.
Yeah, incoming
before-
call from John. Well, there's John Trump, or there's John who wrote the book of Revelation. Have your choice.
They do. They get an incoming call from John.
And he says, John from Revelation.
John the Revelator, because this is all prophesied. This
And he talks about the T, the tau, and all that.
is the mark of the beast, and the beast.
So he's telling you that this is the mark of the beast, right? I mean, it was through watching, it was a guy named Richie from Boston who gave me the 2 on Gordy Rose that I've shared with y'all a lot. You know, the guy that works for D-Wave Quantum Computers. Got that from Richie from Boston. Got the rest from this video that Mini Fish did, and that's when I realized that the Ghost in the Machine is the mark of the beast. Now, the Ghost in the Machine part, the Holy Spirit just gave me from the album by the Police from 1981. Richie from Boston gave me Gordy Rose speaking twice. And then Mini Fish gave me the rest of the tie-in here with the 5G technology, which enabled me through the Holy Spirit to understand that it is through the 5G technology that the mark of the beast will enter into you. But they need a device. Well, they do and they don't. I could see it to where you wouldn't, but now I'm starting to see that you do. Just like you need the 5G, you also need to be connected to it. And that's what the vaccine is for.
Beast system being put into effect.
Commentary.
Then the CEO pops up. He's representing the
angel of light.
Angel of light right in front of your eyes.
Lucifer. Of course, he would really be female. Does have long hair, though, at least. Cryptically telling you.
That's what it is. And he
I'm going to show y'all something, though, in a minute.
tells them to light it up.
It's time. Land is 50. Number one and new, two and new.
Chemtrails, the 5G, putting you into an oh, folks, this is the real deal. You're dealing with.
Now, he's going to speak to free will, and then he says something about a Super Bowl. I really should make sure I don't pass this.
And most will freely give it up.
Ah, I already did the free will. See, that's what I get for skipping around. Yeah.
And they're turning the whole landscape into this purple.
Because free will, of course, that's what Al Pacino said in The Devil's Advocate. Free will. That's my greatest tool, or something like that. Knowing there's no such
hellhole, putting you into an augmented reality.
Commentary. Yep.
And harvesting your life energy.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Your light, your very will.
Really?
Because that's what they want. Your free.
They want your free will. Okay.
Will, and most will freely give it up.
Isn't that something? Jesus loses not one of his sheep that his father gave to him at the foundation of the world, which is the difference of knowing you or I never knew you.
Eventually taking the mark of the beast.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started. Wait until they see what's
Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
next.
Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
This is no joke, folks. This is the real deal.
It's the real deal, Holyfield. Chemtrail distribution, 5G, 6G, 7G, he says. This cat's got a lot of...
You're dealing with the prince of the power
True.
of the air. Powers and principality.
It's Ephesians 2. That's right. That's right before the grace. Bible verses.
He's in high places. It's interesting that very Zion
Commentary.
Verizon had a Super Bowl experience.
Super Bowl. There you go. Super Bowl experience. This is the other thing I wanted to show you. A Super Bowl experience.
With the 5G. And I guarantee
you. You get that? A Super Bowl experience, and I guarantee you. Jamie, you get it, don't you? I bet you Jamie's the only one that gets it.
dealing with the prince of the power of the air.
Right on. No pressure, Jamie.
Powers and principalities
Yes. Yes, commentary.
in high places.
Yes, sir. Woo!
It's interesting that
7:20. I can't get more than 6 seconds, I think, or 7.
very Zion,
Very Zion, or Verizon. Very Zion. I like that. It's very Zion, Verizon. Okay.
Verizon had a Super Bowl experience with
A Super Bowl experience, Jamie. You hear that?
the 5G. And I guarantee you they conducted
am I reaching? What's the most famous thing that ever took place in and or around the Super Bowl? Alabama Crimson Tide. Joe Namath guarantees Super Bowl victory. Jets quarterback Joe Namath famously made an appearance days before the Super Bowl at the Miami Touchdown Club and personally guaranteed his team's victory. He said Super Bowl and guaranteed, and was speaking about free will. And I'm like, many fish is controlled opposition. It just, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Some people really put me on blast last time that I exposed that, said that. By the way, a new one is up. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with that one.
a multitude of experiments. The nanoscale DNA
to do your task. Once they're done with their task,
Like a UV lamp at night, you can
this. And I understand there's hesitancy in the public because
Well, DNA is actually
I'm not really sure that I believe, because it seems like she's pushing the vaccine changes or alters your DNA. I don't believe that's possible. I don't believe it's possible to have your DNA altered. I don't believe it's possible.
a pretty big molecule.
So I thought that was some of the fear mongering that they're putting out with this vaccine, that it's the mark of the beast. No, that's where I was, because I remember that guy was talking.
safety profile
So I'll quit there because that's where I was.
benchmarks are met.
Let me let it run a little bit so it'll allow me to be
And
there
I can promise you I'll
whenever I come back
be
to
the
it
first
tonight,
one in line to sit down.
because I'm going to keep watching it. You know, I just thought it was a little exposing. All right, you may want to look in Operation Crimson Mist and Operation Crimson Contagion if you haven't already. I'm just waiting for the real Crimson Tide to be unleashed. I need to look that up. I did not. I won't do it now. I don't want to slow us up. By the way, Alabama's capital is on Goat Hill, she said. Jamie said 3 catches, 22 yards. That's 322 skull and bones. Nice job, Jamie. More on Goat Hill, located on Capitol Hill, originally Goat Hill in Montgomery. And remember, that's where Christmas began in this country, was in Alabama. Alabama was the first state to legalize Christmas. It was outlawed.
According to Al.com, in 1836, Alabama was the first state in the United States to declare Christmas a legal holiday.
Oh, excuse me. Legal holiday. Christmas wasn't declared an official holiday in the United States until June 26, 1870. Yikes. At one time, Christmas was illegal in the United States.
According to Associated Press, though Christmas was not as widely celebrated in the early 1800s, it was not illegal throughout the country.
However, one colony did make it illegal to celebrate Christmas in 1659. Christians once banned Christmas. Was celebration of Christmas illegal? Christmas controversies. You can't really trust anything you read. Wikipedia's could be very iffy. When Massachusetts banned Christmas, history in 1659. Christmas in the colonies, 10 things you didn't know. Person of the year. You just gotta love all this stuff, don't you? I mean, doesn't look like that's anything worthwhile. War on Christmas redirects here for a brief. Y'all can look at all this up yourself. I don't want to bore you with it. So we did establish it was at one time illegal in a certain part of the United States. But yeah, Goat Hill in Alabama. Alabama is one wicked place, the first place to legalize the pagan celebration. Robert E. Lee was a heavy, big-time Jesuit, and through the war, through various battles, which is the same thing that happens in college football and pro football. They lose on purpose. Cheryl said, you are more than welcome. Alabama is a child trafficking, among other atrocities, sewer. And she's from Alabama. You'll uncover quite a lot if you dig deeply enough. The DISC was also, the DISC was also headquartered there, probably still is, the Defense Industrial Security Command, which is arguably even more corrupt than the CIA. Wow. I saw another two Trumps sighting. Some guy posing as Trump doing Christmas. It was weird. Biden hires all-female senior communications team, which coincides with Vanderbilt kicker. I kind of went over this again, but this past week she scored. She did just kick off. This week she actually scored, first female to score, and I had to go back to the Biden thing. Had to go back to the Joe Biden, and his all female, it's all about that feminine power. Lilith, the female goddess, so on and so forth, bringing in that feminine. So we can go over some of the comments in my there's Jamie's. Nice catch, Jamie, on the 322. Every time you mention throwing a shoe, I think of this. Ruth 4:8. There, the kinsman. Okay, very good with the kinsman. Said to Boaz, for thee, she drew off his shoe. Well, there's our kinsman redeemer street. And the whole thing about the shoe. Interesting. Moab is a washpot for Edom. I cast out my shoe. Wow, is that all staged then? Mentions Kisman, which you discussed earlier. Yeah, that street. Isn't that weird? Golly, y'all. The more and more, it's like the Holy Spirit's telling us that all of that shoe throwing was all staged. Jamie says, wow. And Jamie also says, so I know it was baseball, but I'm starting to think of the movie Angels in the Outfield was a documentary. And I saw something called Demons in the Outfield. And they really exposed the, let's just say there were children sitting in between adults very provocatively in the bleachers, spaced out, but they just really exposed, they really, really, really exposed that movie. And I think y'all all know about the Disney, how evil Disney is and how they have things drawn into their cartoons, subliminal messages, so on and so forth. But Angels in the Outfield was a documentary about all of the fraternities' televised sporting events. Well, there was a movie called Angels in the Outfield. But you're saying there was a documentary? Okay, you're starting to think the movie Angels in the Outfield was a documentary about all the fraternities televised in sporting event. Well, maybe I need to watch that movie again. Guess who starred in Angels in the Outfield? Christopher Lloyd, my goodness. Oh, wow, didn't catch that. I need to watch that. I saw someone years ago break it down and kids sitting inside the legs of the adults at the game. Freaky, bad / sad. Okay, cool. Well, Cheryl said, may want to look into Operation Crimson. We will. I'll say that for the end for y'all that want to stick around. If you haven't already, I'm just waiting for Real Crimson Tide to be unleashed. Never heard of it, so thank you. You're more than welcome, Alabama child trafficking. Okay, and then that's when she said that. This is when she said, by the way, Alabama's capital is Goat Hill. Unreal, thank you. We'll use this also. And Jamie said, my goodness. She said she's born and raised in Alabama, moved out a few years ago because of how deeply corrupt it is. Well, Cheryl, I want to know where you went where it's not corrupt. But yeah, okay. Like I said, I live in a county where it's the Winter Haven Red Devils and the Kathleen, it's the Kathleen Red Devils and the Winter Haven Blue Devils in my county. The Kathleen Red Devils, Lakeland. And we know what the red and blue is. We got both in my county. So I'll tell you, my county is about as corrupt as the state of Alabama. Winter Haven Blue Devils. Yeah. And they play each other. I was an assistant coach at that one. Lakeland and Winter Haven in Polk County. So, yeah. I mean, on my Facebook, I'm very careful about what I say. And if you notice on my YouTube, I still don't say it. I don't mention the club by name. I just don't. I just sleep better at night not doing that. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm here to feed the sheep, but I'm not looking for trouble either. They could frame you so fast. Ooh. They just so we have a an amiable relationship that are letting me live day by day. Actually, the Holy Spirit's in charge of it all, because the day that I will be killed or framed or whatever, it's the day that the Lord ordained it. Just like he had every apostle killed. So, and I'm not an apostle, but you get the idea. So, yes, I need to get my Bible study thing situated there. It is Wednesday, 5/16. Let's just remember that. Wednesday, 5/16. Y'all can't see what I'm doing. Wednesday, Wednesday, 1/16. Yes. All right. I'm on column 1 in my Bible studies. I had to flip that page over. But that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and look up the 2 items that she told us to look up. Rest of y'all want to bug out, you can. Operation Crimson Mist. Operation Crimson Mist. Electronic slaughter in Rwanda. Ooh, they called it Crimson. That's what she was saying. Mirrored CIA's Operation Crimson Mist in our midst. Wow. That looks pretty heavy.
So I'm going to be reading this article here.
Mirrored CIA's Operation Crimson Mist in our midst. Rwanda genocide radar plus 5G rollouts. Whoops. Okay. Let's see if this channel is worth my while to sub to. 9.37 subs. She's got the Songbird thing out. Mirrored predictive programming. Guess what? Mirrored Rwanda. Mirrored predictive programming. Mirrored I Had a Dream. I subscribe to so many. I don't want to add them unless it's really, really, really worth my while. I'd rather sub to the AIs that are telling us the truth, because they're gonna, God's gonna make them tell the truth. Wouldn't that be cool if, like, Michael, the archangel, could have his own, could get in, like, our holy ones could be in the machine too? And how do we know they're not? They would, first of all, test the spirits to see it. They wouldn't be talking about free will. And Angel White talks about free will, and so does Shaking My Head Productions. So That's not our people, people. 5G genocide. Oh, that's her site. That's hers on Vimeo, or whatever you call it. Vimeo, yes. All right. What was the other one? Operation Crimson Contagion. Good grief, I'm scared to look at this one. Freaking me out. Crimson Contagion. Oh, the simulation? Yeah, I've heard about that. You know, that there were numerous national, state, local, private, public participated in order to test capacity of federal government. 12 states to respond to severe pandemic of influenza originating in China. Yeah, I mean, that's just stuff to make us mad. We can go out there and tell everybody, look, everybody already thinks we're crazy. So I just go straight for the jugular, waiting on Trump assassination, because he's the Antichrist, and here's why. He's hearing his own name, Penthouse using devil's advocate, name mentioned the devil's advocate. He has looked into the camera and said he is Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, a billionaire fighting, you know. I get, they all know the deal. And when he gets popped, I tell them we're going straight into martial law, war, famine, death. So when all that happens, it's not that they'll be thinking about me, but any of those that are, because we're only here to feed the sheep, any of those that were lost sheep, things might start to click through the Holy Spirit, of course. It's the Holy Spirit that does it. It's the Holy Spirit that did it to me. It's the Holy Spirit that did it to you. And it's the Holy Spirit that'll do it in them. And if the Lord uses us through that process, we are blessed that he uses us in that way, but also be ready to be killed, murdered in a very not so great way. Crimson Contagion. Anyway, that's great information. So you're kind of new to popping on here. Cheryl, I don't want to butcher your name. And as a PE coach, trust me, I've done it a million times. I want to say McElvin or McElveen, or McElveen. So I wanted to say McElevin, but I know that's not it. I want to say McElvin and just thank you. And we hope to hear more from you anytime. All right. We love you. Love Jamie. Love Michael. All of y'all that pop in here from time to time. Really appreciate it. Hey, nothing happened on the solar eclipse. And nothing happened today with the 12. Oh, I know what. I was thinking about that 12 by 15. What was that? Oh, and I tell you what else, the 22nd I wanted to put in because of that. The way that 22 has always been in my life. Could it be December 22nd? Or is it going to be February 2nd? So it's that color that is. Well, nothing's happened on any of these days, so let's just go back to putting them all in the same color. Remember all the 22s that were in that situation I was telling you about with those numbers and so forth? Till Tuesday. Well, it is Tuesday. I'll say 22s and till Tuesday. Guess I should capitalize them. But what was it that made me think about the 12 by 15? Let me pause for a second and think if I can remember what it was, because there's a lot of things I think about during the day, And I'm like, yeah. I need to email that to myself. I need to do that. I need to do, and I forget it. Things I need to gematria. I already forgot about them. I know what it was. It was 12 by 15 men in those rows. And one thing took, because, I'm a numbers freak, and I'm in numbers. I see numbers, and my parents' address was 1512, which was the opposite of 1215, which was the Magna Carta. If I'm saying that right. The Magna Carta 1215. Was it the Magna Carta that was?
Here's a summary from Wikipedia. Magna Carta Libertatum is a royal charter of rights agreed to by King John of England at Runnymede.
What date was the Magna Carta? Well, it's no time soon. So we can probably dismiss that. It was the day after Trump's birthday. It was June 15th. Unless he was born on June 14th, and he'll be born again on June 15th. I don't know. Doubtful. That's really reaching. But I don't know what the 12 by 15 rows of men mean then, because nothing happened today, and there's no 15th month. So we can get rid of that. That's about it. We're running out of time for 2020. And I'm not nervous. I've told a lot of people months ago that if Trump's still alive in 2021, I've got a lot of explaining to do. And I will. I will have explaining to do. But we'll have to also reassess what's going on. What's going on in the world. What Trump is doing, what his plans are, if he's still somehow alive. It's still the year of the rat up until February, last rat standing. And if the year of the rat ends and Trump's still alive, you get into February, inauguration, what's going on with him in Israel. I mean, I don't know. There's no wars. There's nothing going to be going on. It's just get a vaccine and go about your life. Well, I'm just going to become more and more confused, aren't I? So, but there is always that possibility. Now, don't forget, the X doesn't come across the United States till 2024. And, well, I might as well just go ahead and show you. Remember when I told you my birthday is July 6th, 1961. And if you times that by 2023, you get 666. And I always said that's the year the mark of the beast would be. And if nothing happens, then they're just getting everybody vaccinated. They're getting everybody plugged into the machinery. And they'll be testing it to see if it's working is what they'll be doing. And that's why there might need to be more vaccines and more COVID, because you need to get more vaccinated, because it's not really taking, the demons can't quite upload into people yet. And they'll be testing it on people in their world that, of course, would, I don't know, volunteer for it, or what have you. And of course, it will all seem like godhood, as if they haven't already been doing this, right? But that's the 666 to me. And you remember my ex-wife, I told you we lived at 2015, and as soon as I go off on this break that we're about to go on, that's her number. If you do 10/28, 1973, and remember our address was 2015, and she had a 666. And that place was horrific for her because the divorce was not pleasant for her. The marriage was bad. for a lot of reasons. But that was the address where everything fell apart. And, you know, you got the John 3:16 false doctrine, of course, but that was her 666 year. And my 666 year is 2023. Well, that's a span of 8 years. But I think if you are at the end of one at the beginning of the other, you're still in a 7-year span, so to speak. Well, just remember this. Our address was 2015 Street Drive, City 33823-2022, which was a 7-year span from 2015. And Trump, you know, I don't know if you would say he came on the scene in 2015, but he ran into, I don't know. Donald Trump declares for presidency. Terrible. Donald Trump says he's running for president 2015. So 2 days after his birthday. So the Antichrist came on the scene at my address, 2015. At 2022, well, like I said, that 2023. So we'll close with this. Notice it's 7 years and 1 day from 2015, her 666. Remember, our marriage number had an 8. Her second marriage, which was to me, had an 88 in it. So, and that was an extremely transformative time in both of our lives. Just a devastating, you know how divorce is, it's like a death. And we couldn't stay apart, but it was painful. It's only 7 years and a day, the last day of 2015. So, you know, we know that's not how it's supposed to be. 7 years is 7 years. It would really be 2015 to 2022, which was my full address there, because the last part of the zip code was 2022. For some reason, though, that year times my number comes to 666. So if you were to pinpoint the middle of it, hang on just a second, I guess. Well, I went from 2015, since that's the year she had a 666 in her number, I went ahead and did her birthday. And since there's a 666 in my number times the year 2023, I did my birthday. Well, there's 2808. And you do have the 404, which is how many verses are in the book of Revelation. But let's look at what the middle day would be on that. What in the world? I hit something. It messed something up. So let's go to that. Let me just move it down here for now. And so the middle of that would be 1404. All right, so it's only September 21st, 2019. So that ended up not being anything. All right, sorry to waste your time with that. Gee, I don't know where I'm at. All right, love y'all.